So let's be honest, does your accounting firm spend most of its time buried in bookkeeping and basic tax prep? If the answer is yes, you might be missing out on your single biggest opportunity, becoming an indispensable strategic advisor to your clients. So today, we're going to dive into how outsourcing can completely flip that switch, moving your firm from just being compliance-focused to being truly growth-driven. Okay, so let's just start with a really important question for every firm owner out there. Right now, what's your main role? Are you the technician, kind of lost in the day-to-day weeds? Or are you the strategist, the one who's actually guiding your client's future? The answer to that question really defines your firm's entire potential. And this lays out the two paths perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the reactive firm. You know the one, it's buried in paperwork, constantly putting out fires, just billing hours to survive. But on the right, that's the proactive advisory firm. They're pitching strategy, they're analyzing forecasts, and they're building out brand new services. The whole goal here is to get from the left side of this screen to the right. But, making that jump isn't easy. Not at all. And that's because most firms get caught in what's known as the compliance trap. Let's break down exactly what that looks like. What's so wild about this trap is how it just feeds itself. It's a cycle. See, it starts simply enough. Your clients, they expect the basics, bookkeeping, tax returns. So naturally, you charge for your hours doing those tasks. But that immediately forces you into a reactive mode. You're always just chasing the next deadline. And because this work is seen as a commodity, it is so hard to raise your prices. And here's the real kicker. Because all your time is spent on these basics, your clients never even get a glimpse of the higher strategic value you could be offering. You are well and truly stuck. So how do you break the cycle? How do you escape the trap? Well, it all comes down to one single thing: capacity. That's it. The time, the mental space, and the resources to actually focus on what really moves the needle. That one word is the key that unlocks absolutely everything else. All right, so once you have that capacity, what do you do with it? Well, Section 2 is all about that. It's about unlocking your firm's true potential. This is where the real transformation begins.
Think about it. By offloading all those repetitive compliance tasks, look what happens. Bam, you free up your most valuable asset, your strategic time. All that operational stress that's been bogging you down, it just starts to melt away. And you can suddenly launch these higher margin advisory services without having to hire a whole new team. You go from putting out fires to actually preventing them. And maybe best of all, you can finally scale your firm without burning yourself out. This is the after picture we're all aiming for.
Okay, so the why is pretty clear, right? But what about the what? This section is all about getting practical. We're going to focus on exactly what tasks are the perfect candidates to outsource so you can start this journey. And this table just makes the trade-off crystal clear. Look at that direct line between the two. You outsource the routine stuff like bookkeeping and reconciliation, and what does that let you do? High-value cash flow advisory. You delegate the routine tax prep, and that gives you the time to hold real tax strategy sessions. You offload complex fund accounting, and now you can offer legitimate growth consulting. See, every single task you outsource directly enables a higher value, more profitable service you can provide. Now look, making this change behind the scenes is only half the battle. You also have to change how the world, and more importantly, how your clients see you. So let's talk about repositioning your firm. Your language, the very words you use, has to evolve right along with your services. You've got to stop leading with tax, bookkeeping, and compliance. Honestly, those are just table stakes now. Your new vocabulary is all about outcomes, profitability planning, tax strategy, business growth consulting. And believe me, this is not just some marketing spin. It completely reframes your entire value proposition in your client's mind. And here's a really practical way you can structure it. You can offer a core package, right? It covers all the essential compliance stuff. And hey, this is the work that's mostly handled by your outsourcing partner. But then you build on top of that with your growth package. And this is where your in-house team really shines. You're adding forecasting, KPI analysis, and those super important strategy sessions. It draws a clear line in the sand between the commodity work and the premium value you provide. Of course, a big shift like this is going to come with some questions, some fears. That's totally normal. So let's tackle the most common hurdles that firm owners face when they start thinking about outsourcing. Okay, this one is probably the #1 concern I hear, and you know what? It's a completely valid one. If someone else is doing the nitty-gritty work, how can you be sure it's up to your standards? The answer is you build a system of control. You don't control it by doing the task yourself. The key is to set up multiple layers of review, use really detailed checklists so nothing gets missed, and you demand exception reports from your partner so you're only focusing your attention on the things that actually need it. See, quality becomes about your process, not just your presence. All right, here's the second big fear: perception. What are my clients going to think? Are they going to feel like they're not getting their money's worth if I'm not the one personally reconciling their bank statements? This is all about you controlling the narrative. Your role isn't going away, it's evolving. You are literally graduating from being a task doer to being a reviewer, a strategist, a high-level advisor. And trust me, when your clients start getting better, more forward-looking insights from you, they won't care who did the prep work. They'll just appreciate the incredible results. So, as we start to bring this all together, let's think about what this really means for your future. This isn't just some small operational tweak. This is about starting the next chapter for your entire firm. I think this quote really just sums it all up perfectly. Growth isn't about grinding out more hours or signing on more compliance clients. It's about fundamentally shifting your focus to the work that actually matters for your client success and for your own. And that really leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. Once you have the capacity and the strategy and the focus, what role will your firm truly play? Are you going to be the historian, just documenting things that have already happened? Or are you going to be the architect, helping your clients build their future? The choice is yours.